Welcome back, Irish fans, to Breaking Down Braves Boys podcast. Today I'm with Jake, and we're just kind of going to go over all the new NCAA proposals and rules and stuff and schedule pushbacks, um, and just talk about how it affects Notre Dame. So I guess we'll get into it first. A couple weeks ago, ACC made a proposal about the tournament and that every team would get in. I'm pretty sure it hasn't been confirmed. Jake, maybe you could talk about whether it's been confirmed or not or whatever, and just go over your thoughts with it, and then I'll go next and we can get going. So let's get into it.
No, I don't think I've not seen anything that it's been put through. But if Coach K is really, is he the one that came up with it? No?
He might have been. I think him and Bray and Roy Williams are like the main three deciding.
Okay, so if those three coaches are pushing it, then, it's a huge thing, obviously. I'd love to see it happen. It would actually be pretty cool. Um, just more March Madness is, never a bad thing. Well, we would also make the tournament. I don't know if we would without it. So that would be a pretty cool thing. I'm not sure if it gets passed, but it would be a pretty cool thing to see.
For sure. I don't know if I love that idea just because it would make regular season so meaningless. And I love the regular season of college basketball. I know a lot of people don't. But I think you had a thing you sent me. It was about the bracket.
I can explain.
All right, go ahead.
Because I have it in mind. So it would be 87 teams per region, but one of them would have 86. So in the first round, you play the last two seeds to get down to 86, and then you take the lower seeds from the 86 that make it. The bottom 32 seeds play, and they reduce to 70. So that's the first round. And then those 16 winners play. Then you reduce to 62 teams in the bracket. And then the 8 teams that lost will have a tournament to see which one of them makes the 64. And you repeat that process 4 times. And then you do the 64-team tournament for each region. And each winner goes to the Final Four. So that would take 9 rounds, I think. That may take us to mid-April, maybe April 20th. It's not much longer, but it would be pretty cool. It would be so cool to see a team from, like, the lower seeds make kind of a run. So, such an interesting idea to see, but I don't know if it gets passed.
Yeah, I don't know how realistic that is, just because, like, you remember last year Howard was, 2 and 17 in their conference. If they're playing Duke in the first round after winning 2 games in their conference, that's going to be really weird. A lot of those teams wouldn't earn getting to the tournament, but I guess they were talking about. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think the lowest team ever, and this has happened a few times to make the tournament, was with 11 wins. So that's a bit of a jump. But as we've seen in 2020, nothing is impossible. So
For sure. Maybe Wake Forest will get in with 0 ACC wins. That's actually a possibility. They seem like they're going to be.
I wonder what happens when the unstoppable force of Wake Forest meets the immovable logic of BC this year. I think BC would probably beat them, but I saw somebody on Twitter say those schools, 2 schools, are definitely pushing it because they're at the bottom.
Definitely. Yeah, I really am looking forward to doing those game previews in a couple months and just talking about how we're gonna destroy them. But we know how that went in what was it, February when we played them last?
We lost to both of them.
Yeah, that was rough. We can't really.
No, don't we lose to both of them at home?
Wake was on the road.
Oh yeah, you're right. But I know BC was at home, which was the first time Bray ever lost to BC at home.
Yeah, I remember that game when Gibbs missed the free throws at the end. That was really bad.
That was annoying. It was like, and they were down big, and they made a big comeback. And then they lost on the road.
Hmm.
They got BC back later. So that was fine. But sticking back to the subject, I mean, yeah, it would definitely be a interesting, very chaotic but fun tournament to watch unfold. And we'll see what the NCAA does. I think, if you get two of the other Power Five conferences to agree to this idea, you got a lot of steam behind it. And it may reach the point where the NCAA is like, yeah, we kind of have to implement this because it has so much support.
For sure. And then we have 3 other pieces of news from the NCAA. The start date will be November 25th. In my opinion, Notre Dame's not going to play that day. It's probably going to be like Kansas versus Duke, like a huge game that day, I would think. And then it'll be the smaller games, kind of like how the NBA starts with like the Lakers playing open night. Any thoughts on the start date? I know they pushed it back a bit. Not too much to talk about there.
I mean, I don't really get the point of it. I'm sure there's a reason, but I'm not really aware of that reason. I mean, it's I'm not sure why they push or need to push it back. Really, is because they haven't had. If they don't have as much time to prepare, then yeah, that would make sense. But otherwise, I think it makes just as much sense as the Big Ten pushing football back to October. I don't really get either of those two.
Mm-hmm. And they also said 31 games in a normal season gets cut to 27. So that's the max amount of games you can have. I'm not sure how many Notre Dame has on the schedule now, but you'd think some of those games would get cut, like some of the bye games. Like last year, they played Robert Morris, Fairleigh Dickinson. You'd think those games would get cut, and I would really hope Purdue and Kentucky especially would stay on the schedule. Any thoughts about them cutting the number of potential games?
I mean, 4 games isn't that much. I'm always up for more Notre Dame basketball, but I guess at this point I'm just happy to be in the season. I don't know why I don't know why we're doing it, but it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, have they really explained why they're moving the season back and cutting games?
I believe that they weren't allowed to practice more than 12 hours a week until next week. So I think they're trying to get them more together, like in the gym and stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, that I don't know. It's interesting. It's not that far of a pushback, so it's not the end of the world. But another piece of news is that the recruiting dead period is moved to January 1st with no visits. Any thoughts on this and how it could affect Notre Dame, whether it be class of 21 or 22?
Why did they? Well, yeah. Why they have it really? What can they really do now? I mean, they can they can obviously contact the recruits, but I mean, I don't know how much in-person recruiting we'll see this season. I think at this point they kind of have their targets. So, and we should see commitments in the next 2 months. It's just about landing those guys at this point. So hopefully they can do that.
Yeah, definitely. I think the no visits thing, it could eventually come back to bite them in class of 22 if it goes on long enough. Just because I know he told us that coming on campus sealed the deal for him. He knew he definitely wanted to be there. And I think that could definitely happen with a class of 22 guy. As for class of 21, I don't think the no visits thing is that huge of a deal. Just because Blake is in South Bend right now, he can literally go to campus anytime he wants. He just can't see the facilities, the inside of the facilities and stuff. But that's kind of all I have for that. That's all we have for this. Jake, any closing words? Anything else you want to talk about before we get off?
Just that I'm really looking forward to how recruiting pans out for us. If they play their cards right, it could be really they could really rejuvenate Bray era, especially with this 2021 team. You add Blake, that's, as deep of a team as Notre Dame has really, ever had on their right. I think the top line quality is TBD, but the pieces are definitely there for a solid tournament run team.
For sure. I don't know if it's like a Jaron Grant, Demetrius Jackson. It's really going to be a good team. Probably a tournament team. We've talked about it a lot, but yeah, that's all we kind of got. I don't really have anything to close. One final chance for you to add anything. Otherwise, we're good.
No, that's really it for me.
All right. Thank you guys for watching if you're still here, and peace.